Natural curiosity.
Okay, Lady Lou, you started too soon. Go ahead now.
Oh, sorry. We're trying to get all our connections done right. Sorry. It's the Reset for Success show today. It's Friday. I'm Lady Lou, the baby boomer babe. And there's our Marian. Hello, Marian LaSalle.
Hello.
Hello. And we have our very, very special, juicy guest back today. It's Susie Juravich. Hello, Susie.
Hello, you two beautiful beings. I'm so excited to be here today and talk about all the juicy joy that is happening.
Yes. And it is. It truly is. I know a lot of people are so unhappy because they're quarantined and maybe they're laid off or their job doesn't work for them right now, or all kinds of different things are going on in people's lives. And then Marian and I are sitting here having the best time of our lives. So I wish you could join that too. We're having more fun than we've had in, I'm saying, years. For me. Marian has all kinds of fun things, but I am so delighted to be here and be stuck in my house. I love my house, don't get me wrong, but there are times when you have to get out. I know that. I actually went to Sam's Club yesterday for the first time since March.
Wow.
It was wonderful.
Oh, so excited. I know I get excited when I go to the grocery store, and I'm like, wow, I even put lipstick on over that thingamajig, but I'm like, I just feel like I'm, back in some sort of level of community. But I agree with you on this connection, because I've been doing more phone calls, more Zoom, connecting with my Houston tribe. And it's been kind of a blessing during this whole experience.
It has.
I absolutely love it.
Well, Marian, I'm going to let you introduce Susie. You have known her longer than I have. So let's tell everybody a little bit about her, because she's so multi-talented.
It's hard to pin Susie down to what you want to say about her. It's all good. I have never had anything negative to say about my friend, Juicy Susie. She's always ready to help. She's just a giver, but she's also a good receiver. Yay. So if you want to give her some love, I know she would receive it very well. And isn't that the way it is? That's the first thing I learned when I became a Reiki master. The first lesson that my teacher taught me was, if you stop the flow, what happens?
Right.
That green stuff starts growing.
Yeah.
Not that I don't like green. Okay, I do. As you can tell, I love green. But not when it's like stagnant and slow. So my friend Susie, I have known her for quite a while. I met her through my friend Russ Johns.
Yay.
And both of them left Houston and went to Arizona. I'm like, what the heck? You leaving me behind? And neither one of them invited me to come with them. So, hey.
What's that about?
I love the fact that we're still in touch, and that I give credit to the internet for. I give credit to modern technology for letting us stay in tune with each other. So we have FaceTime, we have Zoom, we have the telephone, and we have a car or a bus if we really need to get around, right? Get to see each other. And one day that will happen. So I think people might want to know exactly what it is that you do, Susie. So I will let you explain it, because you have so many gifts that you offer. I want you to be clear on what you're offering right now. So let's start with what you do and what you offer.
Oh my God. This is such an intense question.
I know. That's why I couldn't answer it.
I mean, where do I begin? So I am, I kind of years ago kind of coined myself the joyologist, and it might have been from a character on SNL, Saturday Night Live, but I just kind of resonated with her craziness. And, but for right now, my offer, okay, I'm going to be really super serious here, is I'm offering a 30-minute Akashic record complimentary. And just what Marian said about that circulation, when we block our energy or block that receivership, So here's the deal. There's no monetary thing unless you want to send me some, but I would like for you to do a beautiful review of our time together. And that's it. It's a 30-minute Akashic Records, and it's super duper interesting. It's very interesting, the work that I do. So the records come in really differently for everybody. And I am just a loving being that is open to allowing the energies and the frequencies to come in support of another beautiful divine being. And then, yes?
What exactly do the Akashic Records tell people?
Well, it actually is some guidance for them. So sometimes in the records, we'll go through and go to some past life experiences that may glean some insight. Also, sometimes the records might indicate some different areas of their life. And like a couple of days ago, I did one, and it was about the latitude and longitude of where they were at, and also the altitude. So then sometimes we get information that comes in different ways. And it was kind of interesting because I said, I guess from that information, you might want to look globally about that latitude and longitude and see if there's any things there that make sense for you to maybe learn about or explore or go deeper into your own set of records and see if there's something there for you. So sometimes it's kind of mysterious, too, but people get really turned on by it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've heard of them all my life, but I wasn't sure exactly what they were.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because I think we've all heard it. If you're a
Right.
Christian or you're in spiritual in any manner, you've heard of Akashic Records. But most people are unclear on exactly what does that mean. So I've heard that there's a book up in heaven. I mean, this is what I got when I was, in the in my religious upbringing. I heard there was a book that was in heaven. It was called the Akashic Records, and every life that I've ever lived or will live is in this book of records, and that's like your thing. That's your soul's purpose and what you're going. The directions like that you put in your glove box of your car. That's right. And certain people can tap into that. Now, I was told that was not true. You had to wait till you passed on to the next, the next realm in order to see that.
Right.
But how did you find out that you could reach someone else's records?
Yeah.
Well, that's a great question. I had this spontaneously happen for me, and through the help of some beautiful people in Houston, they helped me move through this process of understanding exactly what I was doing. It came in quite spontaneously. And so then I was able to start giving guidance to other people. And I think all of us have the innate qualities of intuition and connection. And sometimes we don't have a word for it, but I was probably always giving messages even before I came into the awareness of the records. And that has been kind of a learning experience. When I was in Houston, I was doing quite a few Akashic Records at one of my friends' offices in a medical center. So it was just a great approach, for somebody like me to come in to a medical office and to offer something different. It was trippy. I was like, wow. So it was pretty interesting. But yeah, and when you're talking, Marian, sometimes they call it the Book of Life or the Book of Souls. And for me, and you also talked about when you leave, maybe you get more information. But I always say this, that we are able to have a life review with no physical ascension. So we are able to come into a place where we can review our own lives in this lifetime, because we think about the review after our body leaves. But then we still have this experience now because we're really, really expanding with our consciousness right now. The frequencies are perfectly aligned for it, even in the midst of all this stuff that's happening. So, but you can have, I call it a life review with no physical ascension. And that is an opportunity for you to really check in and maybe work with your records. Sometimes what is the record? You could say, I got a gut instinct, or I have been thinking about something and I couldn't get any answers, and all of a sudden it just came to me. So these are those little tidbits that we're getting all the time. So everyone is experiencing in some way, and just seeing it, the right person calls on the phone, these synchronicities. The synchronicities are these great breadcrumbs to follow to move to more truth about who and what you are and where you come from and what your purpose is.
Oh,
Whew,
that's big.
I gotta breathe on that one. Woo! Okay.
Oh, thank you for that explanation, because I just was not sure, and I figured maybe somebody else might not be sure either, because
Yeah.
I think your phone's going to start ringing now.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. So if you can see more than one lifetime,
Mm-hmm.
then does it run in a theme, or is it different every time? Because one lady told me what she could see for me was that every lifetime I'm either a healer or a herbalist or something where, and I love to help people. That's just like, I know a lot of people say that, but Marian's got it bad. Okay. She can't help it. Right. So is it a life, not a lifetime, but over the course of all your lives? Is it a theme?
Well, it's interesting, because if we really look back at this infinite and amazing experience that we live in this universe, or this cosmological occurrence that we're experiencing, is that we've had many expressions that we're able to express from a soul aspect, whether it is human form, different form, that we're constantly exercising through the soul aspect these lessons or these experiences. And as far as lifetimes, let's just say that you, Marian, you are what you would be considered a healer. You've got a loving heart. You're a beautiful presence to everybody that knows you. And so in essence, for this experience in this lifetime, you may be experiencing and getting more information about the parts of you that would maybe a shaman, maybe you were an oracle, maybe you were a healer. There were times too. And so a lot of times I get those for myself. And sometimes we're sometimes like holy people. The holy people come in too.
I don't think that from this lifetime. I may want to help people, but I can bitch them out too.
Well, I mean, and that's the cool thing. When I came into all this stuff, and I had help from some people down there in Houston that processed me and helped me understand what was going on, I made some choices for myself that as I'm doing this work, and I do love being a support to people. I do love to even turn into my own records, but I still get to be a little bit juicy, so I'm not like over here like Miss, meditating all the time and, being all that. But back to your question, though, is that the records or the information that comes through you will come in relationship with your divine purpose here now. And so you may be getting those threads of these different lives. Now, I would also like to mention, too, on these, what we call past, present, future, would like for you to begin the possibility to understand that all of our expressions from that soul essence is always happening. So we feel like, oh, I did wrong. Well, you can go back and you can heal that, or you can do an overlay over the record. Now that's pretty powerful energy. And so sometimes when I'm working with people, I just say, what would you like now? Here we are. And what would you, in the consciousness that you are in this time and this period of now, what would you like to add to it? It's super powerful when we go into this work. And it's juicy too, because it's like people can't even conceive of this stuff, it's just so different.
Right. It's totally different.
Yeah.
I think some people are afraid of it too. I remember one time I had a book given to me. This is back when What the Bleep Do We Know was first coming out, and people were just starting to leave the traditional religions and go into like maybe trying to figure it out for themselves, and then ask the networker. That's not it. I'm sorry. The show that turned everybody around. Hello?
The Secret. Was it The Secret, or I don't know?
The Secret. There you go. So anyway, that was all happening, and we were meeting at Carmel Temple.
Yes.
And one lady, they were giving a course on NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. And one of the ladies that I know from back in Dickinson, which is where I first moved, she came to visit, and she thought, where am I? This is kind of weird, Marian. What did you, this is kind of weird. But she really got freaked out when someone handed me a book. And it was a book on reading. I forget, some channeling book. I can't remember the name of it. It was very popular. And she went home and showed her friends what was happening. And they warned her that we were of the devil. And that if we hung around her, that we were going to, bring her into our cult and she would go to hell. And she was wise enough to tell me this, because I was like, okay, do I look like I'm going to try to send you to hell? I don't know. Devil in disguise here? I don't know. But I think when people are first introduced to Akashic record readings and things like that, if they don't understand, if they've never been exposed to it before, there is some fear there. Mm-hmm. Don't you agree?
Well, kind of and kind of not. Sometimes I meet random people and I'm just hanging out being the juice over here, this, this joyologist. And then they start talking to me about stuff. And I'm like, I didn't encourage the conversation, but random people will just start telling me stuff. And I'm like, okay, but I think that they feel something within the energy that I, am sitting in and broadcasting, and they're able to just start talking to me about stuff. So I think a lot of people are interested, and I do hear what you're saying, that there's that kind of that question, like, well, is this bad, or is this wrong? But but we come straight from source energy. We are that God particle manifest, and so if we are that, then we have the absolute, in my world, the absolute attainment of accessing those energies and frequencies in the best support of our experience on this planet at this time. And by God, we need it, more people need to know that, even in the midst of so much change and, kind of, I don't even know what to say about the whole thing. Let's just say the frequencies right now are pretty wackadoodle. They're just plain wackadoodle. And with that, there's so many different ways to look at life, the appreciation of the simple things in life now. I think that's what we're learning from this. And so if people have a little bit of fear around the Akashic records or fear about the economy, it's all kind of the same. But if we can find that still small voice inside of us that says, I love you, you're perfect, just keep smiling, and eat healthy, take good care of your body. These are those things, so that it's kind of for a person who has a little bit of fear, it's a great opportunity to like help each other and walk each other to a place where it's a little bit more peaceful, and that's what I do. So the information I give is usually is typically very, very peaceful. It's very loving. The energies that I work with are really kind of different. A lot of times I get this really gentling of a feminine, I call them the Marys. The Marys come in and they're quite lovely, and they're quite honoring the preciousness of your divine spirit at this time. It's just so fun, So, but I get that, Marian. I get that, but honestly, nobody does that to me. They just say, well, this happened and this happened. I'm like, okay, let's go for it. It's interesting. It is interesting. My family, I probably shouldn't be saying this, but my family doesn't totally understand, they're little, I'm the last soul that entered that family. And they're just like, what?
Lady Lou, tell them what's happening there.
Okay.
Lady Lou.
I don't know what you mean.
Oh, about the family not understanding.
When I became a hypnotherapist, I thought my family was going to freak out. I had to quit talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just didn't understand. And they still
Yeah.
don't. I mean, the family that's left, my sister and brother, they have no clue. And it's okay. It's just okay. I have adopted a whole new family in my life, so I'm
Oh,
fine.
oh, I'm getting Kundalini just you saying that, because when we can make peace with it, that, the families that we came into or the experiences early in childhood, we create our own beautiful spirit team, and when we're talking about the hypnotherapy, back in 2015, I had, I get a lot of, messages from other places, and Dolores Cannon was one. And Dolores Cannon came to me in 2015, and she was a beautiful hypnotherapist. And but then, of course, I looked her up and she was already gone. But she came to me, and I had this really profound, experience with that. But some people don't understand it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody's in their perfect place, their perfect time, their perfect experience, and in their divine purpose. And a lot of times they're mirrors for us, and we're mirrors for them.
I have a couple questions on that, because
Yeah.
we, Lady Lou and I, are in a mastermind for health and wellness.
Right.
And the teacher is a nutritionist, and she's really, really good at what she does.
Yeah.
She's a certified life coach as well. And she was talking about that. She had a handout for us, and it was all about intuition.
Yeah.
And I do have to apologize to her today, because I kind of brought the whole group down by saying, I can't get in touch with mine. So I know we can come to you and you can help us, but do you have any tips? Because this is the reset show. Do you have any tips if they, for right now, for people like me who can't seem to get in touch with their intuitive side?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question, and I really believe that I can't get in touch with it, right? So I really feel like you are in touch with it, Marian, and that there's some resistance about being the bigness of you. All right, so you're the Reiki master, but I believe that you are accessing the records. And it may be a different way to entertain the energies and to have a different practice. So I don't have any practice when I go into the records, but when I first started, I had to make up all these weird things, that made sense for me, and kind of created some ceremony. I don't do it anymore. It's just super easy now. But it might be something that you do. I feel like a color might be good for you. Sometimes when we think about words, and blah, 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 and that's frequency itself. The words, the symbols, and the sound toning is a frequency. But I feel like for you, maybe a color and maybe a movement might help you. So let's just say you've got a circle or something, and let's say you've got some different colors that are coming in. And as a Reiki person, I know there's symbols. I'm Reiki, kind of, sort of. I don't know. I think I did the class, but I do all kinds of weird stuff anyway. But you might focus on a symbol that makes sense for you, a color, and then an energy. Maybe it's swirling, or it's going up and down, or or sometimes it's a blend of a matrix, I call it a plasmic energy stream. But I would focus on that versus words and thinking thoughts, and just sit with it. And then you might pose a question. Sometimes the questions need to be upgraded. What I found for people, we got to upgrade our questions. We got to get really specific, and then you put it out. You get your symbol, you get your color, you get your vibrational attunement there. You put out a question, you upgrade it, keep upgrading it a few times, and then forget about it. You just simply forget about it. You say, bye-bye, universe, universal cosmic experience. Let's when it's time. Okay. So that's what I would.
That really helped me. Okay. So I want to tell you guys about this thing that I did, so I could do more of this. Okay. So a friend of mine invited me to the Margaret Austin Center in the Hill Country, and I got to go for the weekend if I volunteered. So it's a big place, huge buildings for like yoga retreats and things like that. And they have a building just for, when you come to eat, and all these different places. So it was my job to greet the people, especially at night, with flashlights, because there's very little light. There's, it's just a peaceful place to go. And they had a big labyrinth. And so they invited me to try a system where you close your eyes and you ask a question. You open your eyes and you walk the labyrinth and you just don't think about it. You just, at the end of the labyrinth, you close your eyes again and say, okay, I'm ready for my answer. You listen. I heard it plain as day.
Yeah.
But I thought, okay, well, I got to go to a labyrinth in order to hear myself. But what you're telling me here is I can do this myself.
Yeah. Right. You know, and there's a beautiful labyrinth at St. Thomas University. Have you been to that one?
I have.
That's magical. That place is magical over there.
Yes, we'll have to make another trip there when it gets a little cooler. Right now, it's a little hot.
Yeah.
We were just talking about the heat. But thank you for that, because I'm sure if I'm not the only person that has trouble figuring out that they're blocking the intuitive side, you know.
Right.
It's coming through, but I'm not aware of it. I don't understand it. It's mixed in with the rest of the poking that people are doing to me.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah, I think that you're probably always accessing it. And so to be more gentle with yourself and to lovingly kind of embrace what you are and who you are, and just be in a state of allowance that what you're seeking is already within you. It's not outside of you. It's already within you. And so it's just like letting yourself just kind of get into more gentling of experience and more of a subtle body. And when you're in that subtle body, it's just such a loving embrace. It's just pure love. I call that universal love, is when the subtle body comes in. And that's that part of you where I love myself so much, and everything I'm asking for, it's in I'm getting Kundalini talking about it, but it's like I'm getting all of this. It's all here for me. It's all here for me. And
well, just having you on today, Lady Lou and I both had to get all juicy dressed up and have, you know, she got her unicorn out. Look at her little unicorn. Isn't that cute? We just adore you, Susie. I know you have a Finding Your Perfect Partner course. Can you tell us about that?
This is the craziest flipping thing ever, because I have had so many crazy experiences with relationships, and this is about the romantic kind, you know? And so, oh my gosh, it's a 28-hour course. I'm doing these free introductions through October, and then the class will begin in October. And it's wackadoodle. It's just like, it's so much fun. It's a self-discovery. And what I learned for myself when I was learning to be certified to teach is that it was really about, guess what? Guess what? It was about me. It's not about the other person. They did me wrong over there. So it was really about, what am I learning more about myself, and what am I uncreating and then creating? So it's very, very fun. I had a few people on the call yesterday, and it's so fun getting a group of people that don't even know each other and that we're collaborating together. So it's very chatty and fun. And people are like, well, I don't need a boyfriend or girlfriend, or I'm married, and, but it's just about coming together, just like what we're doing right now, you know?
So how can people get signed up for that?
Well, you can call me. You can call me up. And so I've got my email. I don't know if you've got Call the Juice. There goes Call the Juice. Oh yeah, it's going through. You got enough. You got 2 times to see the Juice's phone number. You can call me, or you can text me. I'm also, there's another one. And then also I'm on Facebook. You can look me up, Susie Juravich, on Facebook. I've got all kinds of ridiculous content. And that way we can, maybe converse there as well. And then, what is this? Visit Susie on her Facebook.
Oh gosh.
Oh my God. I love
it. Hate it when the time is gone.
I know.
I'll let you take this out, Marian. Oh.
Susie, if you couldn't already tell, Susie is a very special friend. She's loving, she's kind, she's giving, she receives well, which I'm learning that is probably more important than giving. And so if you want to reach out and touch somebody who's juicy and it will give you the warm and fuzzies. I highly recommend that you do that. Now, if you don't want to call her, I understand that. You can go to her Facebook page. It's right there on the screen right now. And if you're driving and you're listening to our podcast, I want you to know that down below in the comments on YouTube and Facebook, there are all kinds of links to connect with Susie. And I think that it's a special time in someone's life when they reach out and touch someone like Susie. I really do. Yeah.
Thank you. So
I am glad for the day that I met you.
Yay.
And she's not scary at all.
No.
Just trust me, call her and you'll love her as much as we do.
Yes. And thank you for coming to hang out with us today. We really appreciate you. This is the Reset for Success show, and we're here every week, and we would love to have you on as well. So we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.